Well, I am extremely excited to be here tonight with Pascal from TransX. Thank you so much, Pascal, for being with us here tonight.
Thank you for having me.
We are here at the Canyon Club in beautiful Agoura Hills, and at your request, we were able to locate a nice little spot here at this venue. Pretty tranquil, I guess we could say.
Yeah, there's less noise here, let's say, because they're organizing everything. So yeah, obviously, this is an unused, quiet room.
And we will claim it because we have a lot of things to talk about tonight. Well, Pascal, your history as a musician is so impressive. I mean, as kind of an avant-garde composer, and all of going back to 1978, your Minos, right? Your first album that came out.
Yeah. This is when I had my own recording studio with an 8-track. Analog, and I had the first synthesizer. I had the Moog bass pedals, my background is I used to use all that equipment to do music for soundtrack for television series. But I didn't have many synthesizers, just one. So the first one with presets, and I used a guitar with echo and pedals, and I listened to a lot of Pink Floyd, and later with Tangerine Dream. So I was involved in that. The wave, the German wave of the Berlin wave of electronic music. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you. I mean, and you started at such a young age. I mean, you just dove in terms of electronic experimentation. Who were some of your influences? I mean, Kraftwerk, Brian Eno. I'm just throwing out some names here, but I'm really curious to hear.
Absolutely, yeah. Brian Eno and Kraftwerk. Well, actually, the name TransX is a contraction of Trans-Europe Express.
I did not know that. Wow. Okay. All right. Wow. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Because they invented the genre, and they were retro. In the 80s, they were dressed like the 50s,
They were. They were.
So
I had the pleasure of seeing them about a year ago. They were doing playing all of their albums and doing a 3D laser light show. And so I actually saw the Trans-Europe Express night where they played that entire album, and it was a beautiful thing. Have you ever had the chance to meet any of the guys from the band or see them perform?
I saw them perform in the various cities, yes, but I never had the pleasure of meeting them, yes,
okay.
but.
Beautiful. I did not know the connection, and so that is one really insightful thing that we found out from Pascal tonight.
Because my dad had a radio show for 41 years, and he used to start to play like Jimi Hendrix, and later what he played. The first album at Kraftwerk where they used like flutes and with echoes, and it was more experimental. This was before they found the way to do it more pop.
Yeah, computer love and things like that. Well, I'm curious about your dad, if you don't mind sharing. Up in Quebec, right? Was that he had a radio show
in Montreal? Yes.
He's kind of the John Peel of the Quebec scene.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. 41 years he had. So my background, and also I work in TV series. We produce TV series also, when in French language.
Yeah, beautiful. So when you were a kid, I mean, I would reckon that your household was one in which music was really embraced. I mean, do you have early memories of listening to your dad playing things on the turntable? I mean...
Yeah, well, he had a big collection of records, yes. And also he was bringing new records that his show was with Radio Canada.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's like the
BBC.
Like the BBC, exactly. So I was able to hear like the latest albums.
Wow.
Everything was on vinyl, of course.
Was it pretty restrictive? I mean, the BBC, I know that, through the years there were certain things that were sort of banned, but overall pretty permissive in terms of exposure, certainly thinking of John Peel, in terms of stuff from Jamaica and things that... albums and music that listeners would not normally hear on commercial type radio. So did he really pride himself in sort of bringing in diverse types of music?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. And his crowd was the baby boomers.
Okay.
So he started playing at the beginning of his program like Jimi Hendrix and Inagada Vida, my Iron Butterfly. And then he moved on to playing new age music and later with world music. So he evolved with the listeners.
Yeah. Did you ever have the pleasure of him? Was it a proud moment? I assume at some point he was able to play some of your music on the air. Was that?
Yeah,
Did you?
absolutely.
Wow,
Yeah,
that must
yes,
have been a
yes.
beautiful thing, right? To hear your dad.
Yes, yes. Huh?
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. I didn't know that. Well, it sounds like he sounds like a good man. So thank you so much. Well, kind of fast forwarding into the 80s a little bit, of course, Trans X, your work with Trans X, which is what you'll be performing here tonight, and we're very excited to hear about that. Trans X was such an iconic 80s band, particularly how you incorporated multimedia. Those early sort of iconic minimalist videos I love. And so I wanted to talk to you about, especially Living on Video, the music video that what any memories of that? Was it a positive experience? Was it did you have creative control over it, or
It was actually a TV show.
oh, was it TV?
It was shot in real time with like 4 or 5 cameras,
Okay.
and it was edited live.
like one take?
Like 2 takes, that or 1 take maybe. Yeah. And that was it. It was in Germany. It was filmed.
Music Latin or no?
Was it Music Latin? I did Music Latin. No, it was another show. I have a blank now. I don't remember.
We'll have our researchers look into that and put it up on the screen. Wow. So I was going to ask you. You kind of answered my other question, which was what was the budget, and you never saw the cost. It was just something that they did, and. In terms of creative control, I mean, it was so iconic. I think of music videos of the era that I love. I mean, Pete Shelley, Homo Sapien, those early kind of, just the early influence of technology, especially in that era. And now it's so ubiquitous. Technology, we have phones in our pockets right now that are more powerful than the Apollo space station.
And we don't have to worry about synchronizing all this stuff. But back in the days, it was living on video. I just had one synctone. I had just the bass and the drum machine that were sync. Everything else I had to play by hand because MIDI was not invented yet.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So now all these young whippersnappers have it so easy, right? They can just program their MIDI pads
Yeah. They asked me, "Do you have your sample for this?" It's like, what? I played it by hand. I said, "What are the notes?" Well, what are the notes?
Yeah, it's like asking a guitar player, like, could you just sample that chord you just? Yeah, and it's like I played that live. I performed it live. Yeah. Wow. Well, through the years, I mean, having been such a great musician, you've worked in the commercial sphere, as you said. I mean, having done soundtracks for television shows and commercials and things like that, right?
Yes, absolutely. And then when I got, I started to go out to discos with my friends from Montreal. I was hanging out with Ivan from a group called Men Without Hats. We used to go out with the same group of people, the same girls, and also Rational Youth, which is another band from Montreal. That was the early '80s, and that was when the Pac-Man was out, and
Waka.
that's how I got the idea of living on video. The film Tron and the Pac-Man. Everybody was living on video. Video games was the thing of the day. Yes.
When you think of Buggles, video killed the radio star. I mean, MTV, of course, early '80s, just the cultural influence of MTV. And did up in Montreal, in Canada, I mean, was MTV an influence back then, or did it take a while for sort of the music videos and stuff?
Well, we had our own program in French language also. Okay. Yes.
You guys were so progressive. All of you sort of socialized countries, all these great things, the BBC, national health care here in America. We had to wait for big corporations to come along and enlighten us, I guess, right?
Yes. Well, it's a fun country to live in. Yes.
Well, looking back, Pascal, on those days, I mean, touring. You mentioned, Ivan from Men Without Hats. All these collaborations that you did. Are there any memories that stand out in terms of like touring with other bands, maybe playing at music festivals, things like that?
Back in the days, I was doing mostly television and track dates, which is just singing live on 2 tracks, because they would hire me for a disco and just grab the microphone, you sing 3 songs and you're out. Yeah. that was the formula. Gotcha. But now I have a real band, and actually my show is a tribute to high energy and Italo disco, and it is the soundtrack of Disco Locos,
Yes.
which is a documentary film that will be released this year.
Really? Very cool.
And it's about my career, and it's about high energy music and Italo disco, which is the first genre of dance music right after disco, but that was played with drum machines and synths.
Yeah. Wow.
It was the first genre of music, of dance music, using these analog synth sounds.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, I'm very excited to hear about this documentary, and I don't know if I could say you heard it here first, but maybe this is where you've heard about this. So we will definitely be publicizing and promoting Disco Locos. And the word locos, I want to connect, I mean, high energy music, of course, to this day. I was watching some of your videos on YouTube, and the comments, I mean, there were comments literally from today, like 10 comments from today, people saying, you know, I love this music, referencing high energy. And, you know, here we are like 30 plus years, and I'm thinking, you know, of all of your music, but Living on Video maybe being one of the bigger tracks, and it still to this day is a huge influence on people. People still, it's aged very well. You know, it's still.
And I'm bringing it back now. Yes, because but instead of playing with vinyl records, I played with a live band, and that's the difference.
Yeah.
So I thought, how can I bring back this style of music but different? And also I have a visual show. So it's total immerse experience.
It's an audio-visual smorgasbord, let's say. Yeah, something like that.
That's yeah. Because the young people are very demanding. You know, now they want a great sound. They want to see performance. They want to see visuals. They want
They need the good looks of handsome gentlemen such as yourself. You know, yeah. Very, very styling. Wonderful.
Yeah,
wonderful.
so I invest a lot into the production of what I do now.
That's beautiful. Well, we had the pleasure of hearing you during sound check. It sounded really, really good. So we're very excited to see you here tonight. Tonight we're here at Kenyon Club again. On stage, you're performing alongside folks like Missing Persons, When in Rome 2. Who else we got? Oh, Bow Wow Wow, some of the new U.S. version of Bow Wow Wow. So are any of these artists that you've performed with in the past or that you have a working history with? Or is this kind of a new experience?
Wow, I played in Las Vegas with them, yes. And also with a band called The Flirts, and who else did I play with? Berlin. I played in Berlin also.
Beautiful.
Well, it's all a small circle of people from the 80s. And I played with Ivan from the Men Without Hat back in about a year and a half ago. I hadn't seen him for 25 years.
They did a big tour last year, and we missed all of their shows. I was super devastated because I had friends that saw him and said he was, you know, Ivan was such a nice guy and loved seeing them perform. So
yes, yeah.
Well, maybe sometime we can go to some of those other shows together, and you can introduce me to some of these people. That'd be great.
Perfect. Yes. Yes.
He's my new best friend. I really, really appreciate talking to Pascal. Well, Pascal, one of my last questions for you. You are a man that I consider having obviously international influence. I mean, your music has touched people certainly in Europe, across the globe. Again, on YouTube, I was seeing comments, people in South Africa, you know, just showing love for you. But you're somebody who, you know, born in Paris, right? Lived in Quebec, Canada, and then now resides in Mexico City. So
yes, and I've lived 7 years in Spain also. And actually, I've lived in 5 cities over in 2 continents. Yes.
Wow. This guy is an international man of mystery. So if I may ask, it might be too personal of a question, but is there some? Do you like being able to experience different cultures? Has that been an enriching thing for you in your lifetime?
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. But now I love living in Mexico now. There's something that's vibrant there.
Kind of with the people and stuff. And Mexico, one connection that I assumed was the case, I may be wrong, but Living on Video, of course, you sold over 2 million copies, and it actually went platinum in Mexico. So
that's why I live there.
Hey, that makes sense. Hey, the fans go where the fans are, right? Rule number 1.
Yes, absolutely. But you know, I have and now I have my partner David Davila, who is the director of Disco Locos. You can find Disco Disco Locos, Facebook.com, Disco Locos. Locos is crazy for disco.
Yes, beautiful thing. All right, so you and David just really loving the fans down there, finding it to be a really supportive place to be at this point in your career.
Yes. And in April we're doing a South America tour. Yeah,
okay.
so we'll play festivals in various countries. So that's going to be fun. Yes.
All right. Well, a lot of very exciting things to look forward to here with Pascal from TransX. And Pascal, we should let you get going because I know there's a lot of things going on tonight. But thank you so much for taking time to be with us. And we very much look forward to checking out the new documentary. So stay tuned, all you guys out there.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.